mental, social, and spiritual well-being. Now, question is, what is spiritual? A lot of people say, what is spiritual? Religious? Going to temple? Praying God? No. One may not have been a religious concept, but it can still be spiritual. So spiritualism is defined by WHO. Know yourself, know your destination, and what path you're going to reach your ultimate destination, and what is ultimate. So who are you? You don't know. I don't know. Who are you? You know where you're going to want go after 30 years? No. So we are still in the square one, like 1948 or 1999. So we do not know what is good. So let us not go to that philosophy of all this. But the question is that, is spiritualism required for good health? Is spiritualism required for memory? Memory is part of health. If the health is not good, the memory cannot be good. For spiritual health is also part of health. So if you really follow 1999 WHO definition of health, mental, physical, social, spiritual well-being, without spiritual well-being, you cannot be physically and mentally strong and healthy. So good health means physical, mental, spiritual, social well-being, not just because you do not have disease or any deformity. Next slide. So it is very important to understand, are we healthy? We are probably not a single person in the world is healthy. So if memory is part of cognition, when you talk of cognitive aspect, cognitive neurology is a huge chapter. But when you go to small amount of mini mental score, you send a psychologist to study the mental status, that takes 3 hours. As a neuroscientist, we examine for half an hour. But you send a person, neuropsychologist, neuropsychiatrist, they will study the mental state for maybe 3 hours. If they are not able to get out everything from our psychology, then they will call for 2-3 sessions. So you understand how difficult to understand the mental status of an individual if a trained neuropsychologist take 3 to 4 hours to study it. So it is a cognition which is important. And that cognition is, what is cognition? We say, when you do physical examination, a patient comes to me, what do I test? Physical examination, that is pulse, blood pressure, heart rate, respiratory rate, lungs function, all this. Then we say, we go to neurological function. Neurological function, we talk higher mental function, memory, intelligence, judgment, insight, and many other things. And of course, many mental score, which is 30. So when you talk about mental status, is a person mentally stable, mentally sound? Many things, in most of the things, people think we are healthy. But when you take all of you say psychologists, they say we are not all healthy. We did a beautiful study, 1985, we took about 50 lakhs of rupees to see the mental condition of people, those are brain tumor people undergoing surgery. That was 4 years project. Me and my professor, Dr. Tandon, who is 96 years, we did a project. And our aim was to see what is happening to physical body. Then suddenly we realized, is the physical body health, is everything? We sent them to neuropsychologists. And all the time they came back telling that what was the psychological problem before surgery and after surgery tremendously deteriorated. On the face, we have removed brain tumor. We thought if you are healthy, instead of dying within 6 months, he is going to survive about 20 years. But when you study the psychological, mental, psychometric analysis, they are all unhealthy. So despite of a successful operation, despite being good student, despite of topping in the university, people commit suicide. The question is that the mental status and health are interrelated, and being successful not entirely means that you are healthy, mentally healthy. Next one, please. So memory is a complex process. You have to have experience or information. Information has to be received by the brain. It is processed by the brain. The amount of substance taken out from the many garbage, brain receives a lot of information, stimulation. It doesn't store everything. Whatever you don't like, brain doesn't accept it. So it has to go through a complex process of perception, reception, synthesis, analysis, then gist formation, or abstract thinking, storage, and retrieval, right? It's not a complex process. So we all think brain is a simple 1.5 kg weight organ. It's not true. It's very difficult to understand neuronal networking. Today we are talking neuronal networking in computer science. But neuronal networking is there for thousands of years since the brain anatomy is known. So we are only telling that what happens in neuronal networking can also happen in computer science. So recent memory, we all talk about recent memory. What you have taken in the morning, if I ask you, you can tell it's recent memory. If I give you 10-digit number, you can tell them your instant memory. If I ask you what happened 1930s, who was the grandson of Akbar, past memory or old memory. So memories are many components. We of course sometimes remember old memory far better than recent memory. Many things you read today morning will forget. But you have done what you have done 25 years back, you remember. See, beauty of the brain, whatever you want to retain, it will retain. So substance is that so much of garbage is put to us every day, then brain will not accept it. Because morning to night, you accept garbage, then only few percentage of the garbage, which substance, we retain by the brain. So that is what happens to neuronal network, recent memory, old memory, instant memory, and memory at large. Next one. So as a neuroscientist, we always say it's a concept of wellness. If the memory is not okay, whatever okay doesn't matter. You will not remember, you will not able to produce, you will not have to react, you will not perform day-to-day activity. It reduce, if the reduction of memory occurs, it will lead to mild cognition. Cognition is again complex process. So memory is a memory or judgment are a major part of human cognition. That is the reason why human being is superior to other animals. If you have seen the eyes, the human eye is not better than bats. Human body is not heavier than elephant. Human cannot run like horse. So if you look all aspects of human performance, we are not scoring at the top. Yet, if you add everything to a substance, you are top in the world, right? Is not correct? We are not champion of anything, yet you are the best graduate. Is not correct? You got second, third mark everywhere, and you scored highest mark in the final exam. It's like that. So what is the scientific evidence that spiritualism is good for the memory? One of the journal in the British Medical 29, they talk about scientific. If anybody want to real detail about scientific evidence between spiritualism and memory, it's a beautiful article. But I'm not going to that scientific aspect. We are talking about more of the social and general aspect of memory, right? If you go to the circuits and molecular aspect memory, that will not be necessary for all of us because we are diverse people who have different intensity and interest and performance. Next one. So brain is positive thinking. Now the question is that what is positive? How often we are positive in our thinking process? What positive thinking leads ultimately? If a person negative, what will happen? You see, you imagine a picture like Ram and picture like Ravan. Ravan, did he have really 10 heads? We are talking about 10 black characters of human endeavor. Anger, kidnapping, murder, doing wrong thing, negative activities considered as negative vibration. So every time we are creating vibration, every human being vibration. That vibration generate magnetic field and electricity. That is the principle on which MRI is based. Because body is a magnet, body is having a energy reduction, it vibrating and produce vibration. Positive vibration will have positive impact, negative vibration, negative impact. Considering this scientific basis, our MRI started. MRI principle there in 1940s, and 8 people have got Nobel Prize for MRI. MRI, functional MRI, spectroscopy, MR spectroscopy, mass spectroscopy, molecular spectroscopy. If you read about MRI, is a beautiful science in which in last 50 years, 8 people have got Nobel Prize. So the positive vibration give it to a positive health. Now what is positive health? As defined by good health is considered positive health. Physical, mental, social and spiritual being. So if you take true definition of WHO 1998, we are not healthy. We may be healthy physically, but we will not be socially healthy. We are outcasted by friends, society, parents, family, because we are not behaviorally correct. Behavioral psychology is a big psychology. We are not going to that. So positive vibration, positive thinking lead to a peaceful state of mind. And for memory, a peaceful thinking, a peaceful mind is very necessary. So if you do not have your mind is agitated, angry state, excited state, negative phase of body, whatever you do, you're not going to remember. So I tell my students, you may read 20 hours a day, you're not going to get good mark. But if you read 2 hours a day with peaceful mind, without disturbing anything, is positive mindset, with reception, all you are reading. I read 2 hours, I remember everything. A person read 24 hours, forget everything. So what's the difference? So this is what the state of mind that receives information, knowledge, synthesize, make a substance out of it, and remember. Believe it that after exam, 3 or 4 at a time, you will forget 50%. About 1 year time, you will forget 75%. I have gone so through MBBS entrance, MD entrance, MCH entrance, entrance to the assistant professor, but not. The question is that what you read, you are going to forget. So that is what I say. What I read, I forget. What I see, I remember. Imagine if somebody comes and stab your friend, will you forget how the stabbing looks like? No. If I teach you 2 days on stabbing, you will not remember it. But once you teach, so what is that? What you read, you forget. What you see, we remember. What you do, we learn. So that is where the workshop comes in. When I was MBBS student about 55 years back, we do not have workshop, only theoretical lectures. Then we say, okay, practical. Then workshop, cadaver. Then come hands-on workshop. If I have to do operation on the brain and only cut the cadaver, I'm not going to gain the confidence. So, but that is the steps to get the perfection. So perfection is a process which takes long time by executing your knowledge, putting it to practice, and experimenting the same practice over and over once again. I am a neurosurgeon. Did I learn neurosurgeon one day? No. It took 40 years for me. So this is what is the peaceful mind lead to: acquire knowledge, synthesize knowledge, summarize the gist, and remembering it. So that is the remembrance part of things are memory. Today morning I was asking, what's a memory? Do the unicellular animal have memory? When you touch a leaf, it shrinks. Is it a memory? If you cut a tree, it cries. Is it memory? Has the tree has a brain? So do you require a brain for memory? Unicellular animal, no memory. Have you got memory or no? Yes. What has the virus had memory? How the virus replicate? You have pandemic just 2 years back. What happened during pandemic? How did the virus grow? Where did the DNA work? So memory is stored as a coding in the DNA. So your DNA is ultimately the memory of wider spread of memory than that physical memory which is done by the either temporal lobe or prefrontal cortex or amygdala or hippocampus. So we are talking of 2 types of memory. The memory which you practice day to day, memory is scientific. The experience once you see, you practice, remember, and you can see something is having memory. That's example I just told. The birds come from Siberia to Chilka Lake, 5,000 kilometers. We are confused in a room. We have 5 rooms and keep a substance one room. We do not know. Sometimes get up and go to toilet instead of bathroom, right? So if we get confused in 4-room set, how does the Siberian bird come to Chilka Lake, which is 5,000 kilometers? So this is what more. So spiritualism is a social science. That is what social neuroscience talk about. It's a purely science. It is not philosophy. Spiritualism is a science. It requires dedication. It requires research. It requires absorption and implementation. And any science. Next one. Next slide. So it's a prefrontal cortex. You know, prefrontal cortex is a bigger part of the cognition, including the from temporal part of the amygdala, hippocampus, parahippocampal gyrus, and Papez circuit, which Papez had described. So brain activation during the spiritual activity. You see, if you go to Ravi Shankar, Ramdeva Baba's ashram, they do the brain activity during meditation. Meditation means true meditation when all your sensation is under control and find out what part of brain is activated. In functional MRI, what we do, we give a smell and see the smell sensation is going to which part of the brain. Which part of the brain is responsible for the memory of the smell? You stimulate the eye by a light source. It goes to visual cortex through the lateral geniculate body and also and lateral striatum. So the question is, occipital lobe is the final area for the reception and storage of visual information, but it goes to visual pathway, right? So question is that visual pathway is important? Entire circuit is important for a function of the brain. So neuron is a part of it. The generate electricity, it stores the information, but the glia and the dendrites and axons are very important for receiving and transmitting the information. So it is very important to understand different part of the brain: prefrontal cortex, amygdala, hippocampus, parahippocampus gyrus. They are very, very important for. So far we are talking memory related to brain. We are not talking about memory of the cells, memory of the plant, memory of the animals, memory of the amoeba. They don't have a brain. So if you talk about higher animals like human being, you require a brain for your memory. Next one. So what is the memory? It is a short-term memory or long-term memory or immediate memory. We all know. Today morning we discussed about memory, circuit of memory, molecular aspect of memory. So it is a very complex process, and we give full hour. If I have to write an essay to the neurology DM, we will write describes the substrate and physiological anatomy substrate of memory. That will be 3 hours lecture or answer. Next one. So we know memory is a complex process. For a child is different, for an adult is different, for a teacher is different. Teachers make slides. If you look at the teaching process about 50 years back, there was no overhead projector. Teachers will come prepared, they will talk. Today, none of the teachers can teach without slides and audio visual, because they make the audio visual and they cut the slides and keep on talking to you. And they don't change the slides for next 20 years. Even the things change, science improve, science addition, people keep on talking like that. So working memory, what is working memory? How much memory is required for your working? How much your memory required for, you want to be IAS officer. IAS officer and a village farmer are not same memory. The working for a scientist to research, find out molecular aspect, find out nuclear physics is not same amount of memory you require. A farmer can only think, I have to go home to the field, do some agriculture, come back. So working memory is very important. Visual memory, auditory memory, sensor memory. So memory, if you go to the physical aspect memory, is tremendous. All physical. Vision, smell, tactile, sensation, everything. But we are talking memory at the sub particular level. Where does the memory stay? Okay, next one. So anxiety. If your mind is stable, if you're spiritually means you're physically, mentally, socially, spiritually developed. That means your mind is sthita prajna. How many of you read Bhagavad Gita? पढ़ते हैं? कोई पढ़ते हैं? आप लोग कोई पढ़े? Hey, Bhagavad Gita कोई पढ़े? How many chapters? What is second chapter? You have read? What is the second chapter? Jnana Yoga, Visada Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga comparison. So why Visada Yoga? We all go to depression. That is what Arjuna had gone initial part of the war when Krishna take a chariot and put in front of the opposite enemy's army, right? He went to depression. That is Visada Yoga. Second chapter, Lord Krishna talked to come out from depression. When you are depressed, go to psychiatrist. He gives him counseling. Here Krishna is counseling him, getting out of his Visada Yoga to Karma Yoga, where Arjuna has to involve in karma. His karma is fighting, for which he was waiting, right? It is not very interesting. Arjuna was waiting and praying God that every day that I have to fight and kill my opponent. But when it comes to our battlefield, he goes to depression. That means we are always in an anxiety state. Whatever mentally stable you may be, if your wife or son, your daughter dies, you will not be mentally balanced, right? Otherwise, people will say, "Oh, to insane hai." What is insane? Who doesn't react to the surrounding? Right? What is insanity? Insanity is a condition of mind where people do not react to the situation where normal human being would have reacted. Either you are insane or you are Chaitanya or Veda Vyasa or Chaitanya, where physical and social activities do not affect your physical body or mental status. So you have to sthita prajna, where in all adverse or suitable situation, you do not get puzzled. That is what in Bhagavad Gita our Lord says, a sthita prajna mind is like a candle which remains sthira in cyclone. When the cyclone comes, when a jhada comes, when a batya comes, the candle will not put off. That means stable mind doesn't get disturbed in good or bad condition, in successful or unsuccessful situation, in happyable or non-happyable situation. So that is what. So you don't get agitated if you are stable mind. Your mentally is sound. Your mentally is spiritual mentality. You do not get a disturb. So this is what important for student to understand. If I spiritually all well, I should be mentally sound. If I am mentally sound, I have got balanced mind. If I have balanced mind, I can have a judgment between right versus wrong. Should I read 10 hours a day or 2 hours a day positive reading, quality reading? We are talking quality. 2 hours of quality reading is better than 12 hours non-quality reading. हम बैठे चाय पियेंगे, फ्रेंड आगे गप्पे मारेंगे, हमारा पढ़ने का कोई मतलब नहीं, किताब खोला हुआ है, तो इसका तो हम क्वालिटी रीडिंग नहीं बता सकते. That 2 hours, many of our students, 2 hours to read. If a quality reading, that means no anxiety. Tomorrow exam. If somebody, your mother say go to get some fish or some market thing, but agitated. Huh? Tomorrow is my mother is not a good human being asking me to go to market. You are reading throughout the year. Your mother has gone to market for 15 minutes. You get so much excited and angry, which is not correct. If anybody you are reading for exam tomorrow and anybody say, do this work, what will happen to you? You will get very upset. But what do you do? I don't understand. You are reading throughout a year. Why do you have to get upset if your mother asks for 10 minutes to go to market and pick up something? This is where you are not mentally balanced. This is where your judgment fails. This is where you are not spiritual mind. Spiritual mind is stability of the brain, consciousness, judgment should not fail. Your mother is so nice to you. She asks for one thing in the before exam, you get upset. Every day she sacrifices for you. So this is where anxiety, angry, disturbance should not come. That's half of exam. You go to the exam, you read everything. You have not quality reading. You look at the paper and then say everything is wrong. I have not been able to understand because your quality was lacking. 1 hour quality reading every day, sincerely, let us say 7 to 8, 6 to 8. People read in the, today morning I was telling about what is Brahma Murta, what is Deva Murta, what is Rakshasa Murta, what is Mana Murta. What time you read? Many of our students, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock? No, that's the Rakshasa Murta. Brahma Murta is 1 hour to 1.5 hours before sunrise. When the Brahmins wake up, finish their daily activity for puja part. Usually 5:30, Hinduism. I'm sorry if anybody is not Hindu. 5:30 to 6:30 are Deva Karma, Brahma Murta, Deva Puja. So Brahmana Murta, Deva Murta, Dana Murta. What is Dana Murta? When sunset occurs, darkness prevails. All the negative activities pick up in the world. The negative vibration, negative activity, you start reading at 10 o'clock, go up to 2 o'clock. How are you going to remember? Get up at 4 o'clock, read for 3 hours. Practice good things. All these things really have impact for the student to have a good lifestyle. When I talk of lifestyle, sleep and work cycle change. Melatonin, how many of you know melatonin? None of you. Melatonin is a hormone is secreted from the pituitary pineal gland and helps you in sleeping in the night. If you sleep in the daytime when the melatonin is not there, your sleep will not be sound sleep. Melatonin balance the brain function. Melatonin give you good sleep. Melatonin regulate your sleep and working cycle. We have written a book, one of my students written a melatonin metabolism and good health. The question is that you do the wrong things night में पढ़ते हैं दिन सारा सोते हो. You read up to 2 o'clock, get up at 10 o'clock. You never see sunrise. So how will your sunrise positive vibration will come? None of you get up in the Brahma Murta, none of you see Deva Murta. You are more active in Rakshasa Murta, Dana Murta. That is what. No, हंसने का बात नहीं है. Go and practice from tomorrow that you will get at 4 o'clock, read for 3 hours. You have a choice from reading of 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. Or you have a choice of reading from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. You read. So that is, so your mind has to be receptive, constructive, positive, creative. For that you have to require spiritualism. How did I exactly say? Constructive, receptive, positive, innovative. All these come from the spiritual health. Your spiritual is bad, you cannot be constructive, you cannot be positive, you cannot be innovative, you cannot be anything. What? Next one. So I believe, we believe as a doctor, stable mind is very important for your day-to-day activity. The mental state is considered from stability of mind. So here you have to have frontal lobe, temporal lobe, hypothalamus, thalamus, amygdala, hippocampus, Papez circuit, many things. Anybody from basic neurosciences side, or you are just across sociology and psychology and all this? If you are basic neuroscientist, we have a National Institute of Neurosciences at Maneksar, Delhi, that was started by 100 acres of land, Brain Research Center, National Institute of Neuroscience, National Brain, NBRC. How many of you know? No, they are not scientists. NBRC, Dr. P. N. Tandon, my teacher started it about 25 years back. There is the purpose is to have improvement of neuropsychology. Next one. Next. So spirituality lead to peace of mind, positive state, tranquility, creativity, contentment. A book is written by Swami Chidananda. Anybody know Swami Chidananda? Sivananda? How many of you know Sivananda? What was he? He was a medical doctor. He did it MBBS Madras Medical College. After practicing, getting a lot of money, he went to Malaysia and came back. After earning crores of rupees, he was very dissatisfied. So money is not everything in life. So he went to Haridwar and started a Divine Life Association. Is not correct. His greatest disciple was Swami Chidananda, who was doing graduation at Mysore. They are a very rich family. As soon as he came to know Sivananda is doing wonderful job, he left home without telling the parents. He wrote a beautiful book called Choice is Your. Choice is Your. You always blame others for everything. So he talked about trust, devotion, sacrifice, contentment. So contentment. If you have no devotion, you have not trust, you are not religious, you are not sacrifice. A chapter called Garden of Spiritual Life. Garden of, remember this is a small book, but it talks all philosophy of life by paying 30 rupees. Choice is your. Trust, faith, devotion, sacrifice, and 1 more, 5. So I think you should have confidence, contentment, positive thinking, tranquility, creativity. So they're all interconnected. If you take one of them, you cannot achieve, because your confidence will go, you cannot have ideas, you cannot have progress. Your contentment go, you're already dissatisfied. Dissatisfied mind is a disturbed mind. Disturbed mind and not a receptive mind, agitated. So mind is all that control our future. Control our future. So if you are not doing your thing according to your confidence, your contentment, you cannot have a positive state of mind. So to get a positive state of mind, you have a spiritual aspect. The spiritual health is dealing with positive, constructive, creative, innovative mind. Next one. So you have a choice. This is what I say. Swami Chidananda, trust, devotion, service, and sacrifice. Would you like to sacrifice for others? How much devotion we have? How much we do the service we do to others? Service means we believe getting a government job and earning money and giving it to parents or children or wife. That is service. No, we are talking service in a broader term. Naukari and service are different. We confuse between naukari for earning money and service to humanity, which is sacrificing your time, effort, mental for others. Next one. So psychology. What is psychology of memory? You should be confident. You should have self-control. You have a stable mind. You should be emotionally not imbalanced. Emotionally labile, temper tantrum. Something told to your friend, you get very angry. You are a very nice person, everything is okay, but you throw tantrum. That means for few seconds, you go to such a disturbed mind that you can kill somebody, that agitated period of mind. So that you should not go to. That's the worst state, that you are all the time well, but that 5 seconds of madness or 10 seconds of madness will be causing harm, so that you cannot create your future. 10 मिनट का जो aggression हुआ ना, उसमें किसको मर्डर कर देंगे तो सारा बर्बाद आपको होगा. The entire future is spoiled for that 5 minutes of aggression. Next one. Everyday people don't commit murder. Committing murder, you have to have a disturbed mind, negative mind, and your mind has to be totally so agitated that you do not understand. And after doing murder, when you repent, do you understand that was the 5 minutes of dark aspect of your life. Throughout life you are good, but that 5 minutes destroy everything. Ravan was a pandit, right? No? No? Ravan had 100 wives. No? Everybody told Ravan, Kumbhakarna, Indrajita, wife. Everybody said, give Sita. You don't give. Why? He had no less wife. He had hundreds of wives. But his ego. So when Markanda Rishi wrote about Durga Saptasati and Orgla Sutra, Dehi Saubhagya Arogyam, Dehi Me Parama Sukham, everything they talk about, Rupam Dehi, Jayang Dehi, Jasa Dehi, Dasa Jai. Give me beauty, give me destiny, give me wealth, but take away my ego, ahankar. So in Gita 1 chapter, what God says? Indriyana paro dehi. Dehi mano par dehi, after the soul. So what is the body ke upar indriya hai? Your senses. After the senses is mind. After mind is ego. And if the ego is controlled, that is what Durga Sapta Saubhagya, Rupam Dehi, Jayang Dehi, Jasa Dehi, Dasaji. Give me beauty, give me victory, give me your wealth, but take away my ego. So if everything is there, but your ego is above your head, everything will be destroyed by that ego. Next one. Spirit and soul. What is spirit? What is soul? What is the soul? That is called soul science. A lot of people do research on soul. People are thinking soul lies in the pelvis. If you go to the medieval period, then they found the movement of intestine sound. When there is sound from the bowel, they say probably soul is lying in the abdomen. Then people start thinking there is a heartbeat. So they thought soul is lying in the heart. Where is the soul now? It's going from the Muladhara chakra to Manipur chakra to Sahasrara chakra. Where is now? Where the soul lies? We don't know. Maybe hypothalamus, maybe thalamus, maybe the autonomic nervous system. If you think of soul and body function, heart rate, blood pressure, respiration, they're all in the hypothalamus, controlled by the autonomic nervous system. But where do the soul stay? This is a pure science. As the human being evolved from the Stone Age to this age, the medieval period now, we are thinking probably soul lies in the frontal lobe, hypothalamus, centromedian nucleus of thalamus. All the consciousness, all the higher function is concentrated in centromedian nucleus of thalamus. Thalamus has 27 nuclei. Anyway, we don't go to details of neuroanatomy. So it is all this what is related to spiritualism. So your memory, if you want to be a good student, you want to have a bright future, you want to do more research, you want to get a research award, ICM award, Nobel Prize or Peace Prize, you have to have stable mind and positive thinking. Next one. Next one. Lot of things. There are in 20 countries, 75,000 adolescents were studied. Spiritual, self, nature, transcendent, all these. They found the hugely new in positivity of human being is going down. This is journal I pick up that if you see 50 years back, education not that good, degrees were not there, but there was human values and contentment and peace and faith, all this. Today we are educated, you have money, but what you don't have is the contentment, spiritualism. And without spiritualism, your memory cannot be there. So their spiritualism and memory are interconnected. So I would think if you have to study, have a quality study, read at Brahma Muhurta. Do not do all your activity in Rakshas Muhurta, Dana Muhurta, that is evening 7 o'clock to midnight 1 o'clock. So if you reorganize your life, you change your lifestyle, then your memory and spiritual will be better and you will do better in the future. I think last slide, next one. So positive health, joy of life. There's a book called Joy of Life. How many people have read Ignition, River Ignition, Wings of... Abdul Kalam has written 35 books. And many books are meant for the young children. There's a book called Ignition, a River Ignition, Wings of the Fire. You can read all this. These are all really to motivate the children to have positive mental state. He was not a Hindu, but his activity was like a spiritual leader. So spiritualism and religious do not confuse. Spiritualism, connection between you and your God, and a spiritual being is also religious and he doesn't do anything wrong. But a religious person could be blind, could be andhavishwas, false belief, and can commit sin. So there is a lot of difference. Next one. So spiritual well-being, spiritual health, spirituality, there are different domains: self, others, nature, and transition. So spiritualism have different domains. We say na, scientists will talk about different domains. In molecular, you take this domain, that domain. Also, spiritualism has different aspects. Next one. Higher consciousness. This is where we failed. We have not understood what is higher consciousness. Judgment, insight, memory, everything is higher consciousness. Consciousness is above physical consciousness. So if you talk about physical consciousness, sub-physical consciousness, that is Rakshas Prakriti, physical consciousness, super consciousness, Chaitanya consciousness, divine consciousness. So if you talk about 5 types of consciousness: subconscious mind, conscious mind, super conscious mind, Chaitanya conscious mind, and divine consciousness. So this is we talking about physical consciousness. You are physically alive, mentally alert. So we are not talking about anything beyond physical consciousness. We are all worshipping our body for physical benefit, not for social benefit, not for spiritual benefit, not for anything. So what all the time what do you do? Good khana, good food, good dress, अच्छा perfume, अच्छा bed नहीं सोने के लिए. So where is your spiritual consciousness? So these are processes which helps to develop the spiritual upliftment. If you are spiritually stable, spiritually positive, spiritually conscious, then your memory will be very strong. All the memory may not be strong. There are negative memories also. You murder and remember rest of the life, nahin? But you forget your marriage, but you remember a murder, nahin? Which is more important? So negative things are easily remembered for longer time. You remember where a mother had shouted at you, but you don't remember how many times mother gave you rasgulla. Have you remembered? No. So this is where the negative mind is not correct. साल में एक दफा आपको मदर आपको गाली दिया तो आप इसको जिंदगी से याद करा, और जो 364 दिन आपको अच्छा खाना खिलाया वो तो याद नहीं है. Next one. So what I am telling, this is what a good mind and spiritual mind is. That what you remember is all bad things more frequently, and that gets imprinted in the. So there are dynamic neurons who are working properly. Whether you sleep or don't, it's only 40% of brain neuron is active for your day-to-day function. 60% neuron do not come to normal activity. We say recruitment for addition of more and more neuron to our day-to-day activity. Recruitment for physical activity, mental activity, spiritual activity. That is the reason most of the brain are unutilized whole of our life. We born with a big brain, we die with a big brain. If large number of neurons never participating in our daily physical, mental, social, spiritual activity. So if you want to really become spiritually elevated, you do that. So more and more neurons are recruited to your day-to-day function. More and more neuron recruited your function, better will be better your life, your thinking, your mindset, your positivity. You see that people, those who are doing research and getting Nobel Prize, are the same people or different people? How did that change from ordinary human to superhuman being? By their superior consciousness, their spiritual consciousness. So we have to elevate our spiritual consciousness, so we have better memory, better student, better mark, better future. So for student, spiritualism very, very important for good health and good memory and better future. Next one. So who is God? I am not going to talk about God, prayer. So we say food for the body, prayer is for the soul, and meditation is the mind. So without food, body will not survive. Without meditation, mind cannot be stable. Without prayer, soul cannot be peaceful. So everybody has to be a balance between body, mind, and soul. In Harvard Medical School, every year in the month of August, there is a conference called International Conference, Body, Mind, Medicine. In Brahma Kumari Ashram, in the month of October, for the doctors, they talk about body, mind, medicine. So we all understand body contains body, mind, and soul. If you have good coordination, harmony between mind, body, and soul, you can be only prospering in the future. Your mind will work in a positive manner. You can utilize your time successfully and productively. Next one. So spiritualism and fitness. All this, I think we'll skip. Next one. Next one. Biological, psychological. So the spiritualism has a lot of good effect, and memory is one of the aspects of spiritualism. It's a very vast subject. So we think for a good memory, for a long-lasting memory, for a constructive memory, spiritual mind, spiritual activity, spiritual thinking, spiritual reading, spiritual psychology, spiritual practice is helpful. Next one. I think we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Anybody want to ask question? Yes.
So nice presentation, sir. Good aspects how to live a holistic life. So as you mentioned rightly, the negative incidents are more memorized, more impactful than positive things. So what would be the physical, psychological, physiological differences?
See, our body secret hormones. The negative hormones create you more angry, anxious, bad thinking. We know that body has a lot of hormones. Neurochemistry, how many neurochemistry are there? Neurotransmitters for body function.
So is the secretion more for negative?
Absolutely. When you're excited or thinking, what is harmful for body? Adrenaline, noradrenaline. Okay. Dopamine is a very good thing. Dopamine deficiency go to aging process, Parkinsonism, degenerative disorder, more excitement, acetylcholine, what happens? In a state of epilepsy, what happens? Hyperactive state, acetylcholine goes out, and all the anti-epileptic drugs form down. See, it's the balance of body. It's like a acid-base balance. 7.38 to 7.4. pH, if it go below 1 point, it's gone, right? Either it's alkaline body or acidic body. Both are very bad. So in the body, acid-base balance is a very vital, very thin line between acidity and balance. It is 3.3, 7.38 to 7.4, 0.02 difference, right? Similarly, here we are talking about negative. When you negative thinking, your body is excited. The hormone you secrete that time is going to die.
Sir, but for positive activity also we get no excitement.
Oh, no, positive excitation is like a different type of excitation. Marriage is positive excitation. Modern is positive excitation. A negative. Both are so hormones secreted. You know, neurotransmitter is only found for last 75 years. If I am correct, 1952, neurotransmitter first secreted. And first was dopamine and acetylcholine. If you go from there, lot of knowledge has accumulated over last about 70 years or so about neurotransmitters. Everything we are talking about only hormones. When we go to neurotransmitters, we are not talking about now talking channels, ion channels. There are hundreds of channels of body through which the micrometabolism occurs. Pathways, not pathways, channels. Calcium channel, sodium channel, potassium channel. So these channels are now, that is the reason disease are renamed to channelopathy. So what I was telling, negative mind versus positive mind is the difference the body clinical and hormonal and chemical status of the
what is the difference between the spirit and the soul which you were mentioning?
The spirit is, sir, you are positive spirit. Spirit will take a state of mind. Soul is the consciousness. Spirit is not the soul. Sometimes we synonymously use it. It's not spirit is not a soul. Soul is life energy. Soul is the driving force. When Arjuna asked about soul to Krishna, what did he say? Aham atma budakesa sarva bhuta sayasthita aham adi cha madhya cha jiva bhutana anta. So atma is something which is not expressive. Atma is invisible. It's a positive vibration. So if you talk about soul and that, it's same synonymous. We synonymously use it. It's not true. What's in atma? That is the reason I am talking about soul science, a very, very big subject where research has to be done. All these philosophers, you talk about big philosophers, big ones, they have talked about soul, but nobody understands soul science. That is the reason we start for last 30 years or so, we are thinking soul is present in the पहले तो आप सोचे ना छाती में है, सहस्त्र में है, पेट का हम बाल का साउंड सुन रहे थे तो सोचे आप पेट का में if you go where the soul situated in medieval period, maybe 1000 to 1500 years, what are the people are thinking? Soul is the abdomen, then that soul is the chest, then soul is the ear, now soul is the hypothalamus. Right? Why the soul? Is the soul is a substance or is the congregations of chemical, electrophysiological and body anatomical substance?
Yeah, modern scientists and neuroscientists they say the soul is somewhere there.
Soul is life energy. Soul is life energy. It could positive, negative. It is situated in the body functioning. Body functions to the parasympathetic and sympathetic. So positive vibration, negative. Heart rate बढ़ेगा, कम होगा, balance रहेगा. Brain activity कमेगा, everything is balanced state of mind. So there, the activity is balanced by the thalamus and hypothalamus. If today you ask anybody where is the soul situated, I'm sure nobody will answer. Yeah. But today we will think soul is no more the abdomen, no more the chest, it is somewhere in the brain. Which part of the brain controls the body? That is hypothalamus, right?
So yeah, as I said, the modern scientists, neuroscientists say it is hypothalamus, but it has been removed, but still the person is working. The case study of HM has been done. But in more as per the Vedantic school of thought, the soul is
Vedanta is a thought is when Vedanta was written 7th and 8th century. First, Adi Sankaracharya and they have written.
Yeah, there is one.
And modified why the Vedanta came in. Veda was so complicated for ordinary people that people did not understand. So they conciled Veda with Vedanta, right? Veda was knowledge. Veda, what is the meaning of Veda? Knowledge. Knowledge. That's a Atharva Veda deals with Ayurvedic knowledge. Ayurveda. Science of knowledge. Science of knowledge. Yes.
Sir, I have a personal question to ask you. Very interesting. I want to draw your.
I think you can hear it.
I want to draw your attention.
I have been working as a teacher for last 40 years, 40 years. Okay.
Sir, I want to draw your attention to the information you provided regarding Brahma Muhurta, the importance of waking up. This is a personal question I wanted to clarify, given your experience in this field. It is said that your body has circadian rhythms.
Psychiatric.
Some doctors told me that if I feel very attentive at night, I sleep late and I wake up late.
Late means 2 a.m.
Yes.
What
Sir.
is late? You understand now?
Yeah.
Some doctors said it's good to sleep at 2 a.m. right?
No, they said that if you say you have the circadian rhythm, so if your brain is functioning at a heightened state in the second half of the day, at night, then that is your nature. So you should not disrupt that and try to forcefully wake up in the morning.
Nature is more important, gene is more important. Nature is created by human being. Is a good nature or bad nature, cruel nature or sympathetic nature. Nature is what you do every day, right? But the gene and the consciousness is not guided by nature. So if a doctor has told you, you practice yourself. But I don't ascribe that your reading at 2 a.m. at the Asura Muhurta is good. What he's telling his question, if you are acquainted or you are habituated to read late night up to 2 a.m., it's good for you, right?
No, sir. See, the idea is for me personally, I feel very, in the sense like very attentive. My attention level is far higher at night while reading rather than early in the morning when I feel sleepy.
You have never compared yourself. You try to sleep from today, promise for something, sleep 9 o'clock, get up 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And you are reading up to 2 a.m. I will suggest you, talk to your doctor. Somewhere or other, he give you something to sleep at 9 a.m. and get up at 4 a.m. 9 p.m. and 4 p.m. and 4 a.m. and read from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Then only, because you cannot compare anything with you. You are comparing yourself that I am doing very fine by reading in the wrong time of the day. Okay.
So my question is,
your question is, doctor said, if you are accustomed to read up to 2 a.m., it's good to carry on that. What doctor did not understand or tell you, you have not done the body work and sleep cycle. Work and sleep cycle means when the melatonin secretion is highest in the night, melatonin is secreted in night. What the people do? They work throughout day, they go home, make everything dark, artificially make the day to the night and sleep. Melatonin, you go and read the melatonin metabolism. And the melatonin in the night time, you want to sleep in the daytime, there is no melatonin, you cannot have sound sleep. Where is the melatonin in daytime? If you just look 5 minutes for melatonin metabolism in the body, and it has contribution to sleep cycle. Lot of people sleep at 2 a.m. They say I'm sleeping, but if you do the EEG, the sleep is not sound sleep. They go to bed at 3 a.m. Every 15 minutes, half an hour, they open eye and pretend sleeping. And in the morning, they go on and whatever do, many things they do is not perfect. I am sure you will do far better if you give up this habit, whoever doctor has said, and read at Brahma Muhurta.
Sir, one thing is for sure.
4:30 and 6 a.m.
So I feel very productive. Yes, I do.
Oh, how do you know your productivity will not go up? How do you know that you are doing X? Einstein said that he got Nobel Prize by using 10% of his brain. I don't know how many of you know. Einstein was born in Berlin. He did not speak and walk for 7 years. The parents saw a moron. He is physically, mentally challenged, but he became Nobel Prize. So I am sure if you have a good lifestyle, sleeping on the right time, getting out the Brahma Muhurta, your 95% will be 100%. You will add adding that 5% is more important. People get 80%. From 80 to 90 is more difficult. 90 to 95 is still more difficult. Right? That 5% require more effort. Right? Getting 60% doesn't matter. And if you are happy with the 60%, say I am doing well, I have no answer. But if you want to further improve, do right things.
Thank you. We'll have to cut it here. We're short of time. Sorry.
Yes.
One question.
Oh God, so many questions. I think
actually, we have a guest waiting.
Lecture से अच्छा है question answer. Lecture तो सब लोग जानते हैं. They are so healthy people.
Hello.
Yes. You want to ask question?
Yes.
Yes, madam.
Namaskar. I just want to know about this intuition memory, which we we don't know the destiny, but still we are able to go to the correct destiny. It is called intuition. So where it resides in the memory. And one more thing is a dreamer. Like when we get the dream and after a few days it comes true and we think that like, oh, it came true. So where that memory also situated. And also this, as per the past lecture, dog and everything, all these examples, even the ant sees ant as a memory. So
Everything has a memory. I told
yes,
you.
it's
Cell
due
has a-
to the
cell has a
consciousness.
memory. Cell has a memory.
Yes, it's due to the consciousness. Yeah, it's this two, compare between these two, intuition and the dreamer, how he is able
See,
to
the
see
question
that.
is, if you are telling that every dream comes true, I will be the happy person. I see so many beautiful dreams and my life is not that beautiful. So I don't think dreams are always true. But if you say, do some dreams happens to materialize to the realistic life? Yes. Out of 100 dreams, 10 may be true. So if you are telling every dreams are actual activities, what you dream in the night, you do or get in your life, that should have been a wonderful thing. Everybody would have, I dream in the night as a king. Do I become a king? So dream
No,
is
only
a
few
sleepy,
times.
dream
Yeah.
is a sleepy state of mind, is a subconscious state. What you realize in the subconscious state, if Chaitanya dreams something, if Allah dreams something, Krishna dreams something, that is different. But an ordinary person dreams in the subconscious mind, it's not going to always going to happen. If you have 100 dreams and 10 become materialized, that 10 cannot be given as example, all my dreams have become successful. Otherwise, there will be all big things. How
So
many times you
same
dream
wise
as
the
king?
sense, same wise the rasgulla, if we think about the rasgulla, we taste and we feel that. So how this memory resides where, like exactly?
See, actually, memory is still a complex process. We believe memory is coded in the both the cytoplasm and nucleus. When I was asking, appearing my MBBS, I was asked in first MS what is codon. That is the year the Nobel Prize was given to Hargobind Khorana. Okay, 69. So that codon has come. Luckily, I had gone prepared with codon. So many things which has gone right now in molecular biology, subcellular level knowledge. What is consciousness? We are not in consciousness of cell. We are conscious of nucleus, conscious of cytoplasm, Golgi apparatus. You know, Golgi apparatus change every experiment. The COVID में जो Golgi apparatus change होता है, all COVID patients have same changes in Golgi. Nobody talk to each other. Why the small particle, subnuclear particle like Golgi apparatus behave similarly all COVID patients? Is not correct. So the question is that vast amount of neuropsychology you don't understand. But there's some part we are trying to understand today because scientists have better way and method of seeing it. We have functional MRI, we have PET scan, we see the brain metabolism. If I am positive, let us say, do the experiment, have a dreamy state, do the PET scan and see what is the glucose metabolism. Where these dreams come from the brain. Is a brain activity or what? A dream is a brain activity or what activity? Who knows what is a dream? What happens to the brain in a dreamy state? Glucose metabolism, oxygen metabolism, carbohydrate metabolism, what metabolism? PET scan can show. But how many people go to PET scanner and dream? And when you wake up, the PET scan cannot work in dream state. So that is, I don't think all dream comes to true. And dream state is an actual reflection of true mind. That's not true, I suppose. Because, and second question?
The taste and the body is connected with the 5 elements. So that's what
Body is a physical body. You know? Body is very little. All this comes from the higher mental function, which is a command of the commander of body is the brain. And brain का जो super commander है, commander chief is brain. Thank you. So the question is that many things in the nervous system we don't understand. All the science of neurosciences are developed in the last 70 years, no? It is not cardiac science, it's not anatomical eye of the abdomen. The brain science has developed in how many? 70 years? 1950s. So it's a very cognitive neurosurgery. Cognitive neuroscience is very baby or young science. It's not that developed. Thank you very much.